making that change. So sometimes we really have to talk to ourselves. We have got to look at ourselves in the mirror, eye to eye, and say, hey, you, what changes have I got to make my life more hopeful, to make my life better so that I can become and be who I want to be. And sometimes that's the most hardest of works. It's a real hard challenge actually to just sit there and to look at yourself and go, what is it that I need to do? How about you, Dave? Have you been through some changing situations in your life?
A long time ago, actually. I started work in the court service up in London, and I had one transfer into another court in Marylebone, where I made so many good lifelong friends. And the worst thing that happened to me is I got promoted and went from that wonderful social crowd that we had there into another office, which there was no really at my age. There wasn't much work. You just sit there clock watching, and that's what brought on my bout of depression. And you think dark thoughts, you can't see where anything's going. I was going out with my future wife at the time, and things were telling me, "Oh, get rid of her," and I just didn't want that to happen. So she was such a rock, because many people I think might have walked away from it because I was really screwed up, but she stuck by me. We're both stuck by each other, I think, and now we've been married over 40 years.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's so lovely. And in that in itself, it's somebody bringing you hope, isn't it?
Yes, it certainly was.
So it's not just looking for yourself, but also somebody else there to help you. And this is what's really, really powerful, actually, is when we can come together. And it's really nice to hear that she stuck it out with you. And now look at you, 40 years down the line. Congratulations.
She's there. She listened to all my ramblings and it was a tough time, but we got through it.
And you've grown beautifully as butterflies together, Dave.
I think I wouldn't go that far.
But very similar situation in terms of I needed a change, and I had a partner at the time, and he sat and he listened to me, and he helped me through some of the really, really challenging parts of my life that I never thought that I would actually get away from. And he came along and he gave me his ear, and he helped me to see hope. So time progressed. I had to move towns, actually. I used to live in Canterbury, and I had to leave, and I had to get out, and I had to come to a different town. And that move in itself was so daunting because I know nothing else but Canterbury. I grew up with all my friends, and I had family there, and my job was there, and my university, my kids' nursery, everything was there. It was home, So the thought of having some sort of difference happen in my life, it was quite daunting for me. But I was really, really unhappy, and I was really stuck in my circumstance. So I was like, enough is enough. I need to make a change. My kids were quite little, so it was okay on them. It wasn't too hard on them. But for me, it was really, really difficult because I was in my late 20s. And as I say, moving from a town to not having anyone, I was very blessed because I had my dad round the corner, which was lovely. But I had no friends. I had no one to go out with and socialise or pop round and have a cup of tea. Whereas before, my friends were literally on my doorstep. And a lot had changed, and it was a real big challenge. And the magical thing is through that change that I made, I became so self-aware. I had all of these horrible thoughts in my mind telling me, no, you can't do this, you're not strong enough to do this, don't be silly, you can't move away, why would you do such a thing? But you know what, when I did, and when I finally arrived, and I finally looked myself in the mirror and I said, hey you, how's it going? For the first time in a very long time, I was like, I'm okay. And my eyes just filled, and I did cry, and it wasn't crying as in like I was scared anymore. It was crying that I finally realised, and I finally knew that I'd made the right decision for me and my family. And I'm so, so glad I did, because I wouldn't be here now. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here now, and I wouldn't be doing all the amazing things that I am now. And I'm just really, really blessed. I've got to recommend a book, actually, that I used to help me. It was called Louise Hay, Mirror Work. Now, a good friend of mine, Rachel, we did this book together. And it's actually really, really hard. I don't know if you've ever heard of it,
No,
Dave.
I can't say I have.
There's lots of different activities in there, and each day it gets you to sit with yourself and to look at yourself in the mirror. Now, I know that notion might be like, oh God, she's absolutely lost her mind, but I haven't, okay? And nor has Louise Hay. Her work is so powerful and so moving, because you really actually get to sit there and see what you see in yourself. And it's not very often that you sit there and give yourself advice like you would give yourself like you would give advice to a friend, for example. So it's about growing that relationship with yourself and going, hey, so what's going on in your life right now? If you're not feeling very hopeful, what can you do to change that? What can you do to make your situation so much better? And it will take you time, and it will take persistence, and you might even have a laugh at yourself, because there's many times that I laughed in the mirror too. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Let's bring it into Kelly Clarkson.